Good morning, everybody, out for the Monday morning stroll. This is the first Monday in October. That means the Supreme Court will be in session today with the first Black female justice. Yay! That's awesome. And I've got a good show for you today. I'm going to recap what happened on Friday and tell you what's coming up. Yeah, stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Crafting Journey. Welcome back to the channel. The leftovers on my second YouTube channel, the link to that is down in the description. And I also have now put the link to my eBay store down in the description. Someday I'm going to learn to talk. How is everybody today? I had a fabulous weekend. I took Saturday and Sunday off from the business, kind of, sort of. I worked a smidge on the business, yeah. And I actually, I put up a video on the Leftover channel where I show the diamond art clubs that I don't think I'll ever get to, and ask you guys which ones I should sell. So I got a message on eBay from a buyer who wanted the Enchanted Forest, and she says, I'll pay top dollar for it. I'm like, okay. So I was reasonable. I said, let me list it, and then you can buy it from the listing and then give me some positive feedback. And she said, of course. So I listed it for $65 and shipping. And within minutes, she paid for it. She bought another item from the store. The paperweight bird. Yeah. If you guys watch that channel, you know what I'm talking about. So she bought that too. So I've got to ship those out, and then I'm going to list the rest of them, the rest of the diamond art clubs, except for one because someone else expressed an interest in one of them. So I will not sell that one, and I have decided against selling Elizabeth. When I took it out and showed it on the video and I saw it again, and it's like, oh my God, I really want to do that. And if I bring it forward to, 2022 and I bling it, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. So yeah, maybe during the year of fantasy next year, I'm going to add in Elizabeth. How is Elizabeth fantasy? Well, I don't know. It's a depiction of her. I don't know that it's really fantasy, but it's something I want to do. And I'm so slow with diamond paintings these days. Oh my gosh. I just got so much other stuff I'm doing. I'm gaming again. I started playing my World of Warcraft. And honest to God, gaming was my first love before I found crafting. So I am gaming again and playing Disney's Dreamlight Valley, streaming that at night for interested people, and we're having a good time with that. We really are. At least I am. It's a cute game. It's very different from World of Warcraft, obviously, but a cute game nonetheless. And World of Warcraft is something I do plan to stream, starting probably the end of November after Thanksgiving. Yeah, we'll see. So what else happened this weekend? The weather was perfect. I've been, we watch the news every night. We've seen the devastation in Florida, and my heart goes out to those people. It's just gut-wrenching, absolutely gut-wrenching. The place where I used to live has just been underwater. Yeah. And, it's going to take them so long to rebuild. I remember after Charlie hit that area, it took them so long to rebuild. There were houses that were abandoned. People just never came back. Animals that were, especially cats that became feral, that were never claimed, animals. And, yeah, pretty bad. I know I shouldn't be talking about that. It's very sad. In any case, what else happened this weekend? Okay, I had a live yesterday Oh my God, Tia's Crazy Craft Edition was my guest. And I just had such a good time catching up with her. She's one of my besties, and oh my God, I just enjoy my time with her. She's funny, she's kind. And she has a YouTube channel, and Tia's Crazy Craft Addictions. And if you get a chance to check out her channel, my God, she used to be a comedian, and just tells the funniest stories. Yeah. I've known her for like 3 years now, and I've had her as a guest in my home. Whenever I go to retreats, she's my roommate. So, yeah, we just have a good time when we get together. We're like sisters from another mister. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was the weekend. Oh my God, House of Dragons last night. I won't give you any spoilers, but it's so good. I mean, every episode is so good. I don't know what awards they go for, Emmys or whatever, but they're going to sweep those awards. It's just fantastic. The only thing that bothered me a little bit is when the first 3 or 4 episodes, they had different actresses for the same characters. So the first 3 or 4 episodes, you see one actress in one part and another actress in another part, and one is the daughter of the king, she's the princess, and the other is future wife of the king, and they're best friends. So all of a sudden in episode 5, they change actresses to make them look like they're older versions of the younger actresses, and it really caught me off guard. I'm like, what am I watching here? Who are these people? And then my sister's like, I think they're supposed to be older now, because they fast forward and they've already had children, and it just threw me off. So anyway, that's all I had to say about that. But still, oh my God, fantastic show. And I'm thinking, oh my God, are they going to fast forward now and throw in some other? Because now, like the children are infighting, like the princess and the queen's children are fighting amongst themselves. So I'm thinking, oh my God, is next week, are they going to fast forward and the kids are going to be older? And because that's how the book was written. The book goes through several generations very quickly in the book. And honestly, truly, this show does not resemble the book. It just doesn't. At least I'm not that far into the book. I mean, I'm probably a quarter, maybe halfway into the book, and I still don't see the storyline that we're seeing on the House of Dragons. So, but fantastic nonetheless. All right, let's talk about crafting and crime. What you came here for. So on Friday, there was the George Wagner trial. And well, first of all, okay, on Friday, there was the George Wagner trial. So the first person to testify was the sister-in-law of Dana Roden. And her name was April Manley. So April testified that she responded over there when the police found Kylie at the home of Dana. So Dana was the third crime scene. Dana was Chris Sr.'s ex-wife. At this crime scene was Dana, who was deceased, her daughter Hannah, and her son Chris Jr. So Hannah had just had a baby. There was a 5-week-old there named Kylie, who was uninjured. So they take Kylie out. The EMT takes Kylie out of the home. She's covered in blood. They put her in an ambulance because they don't know, she was uninjured, but they didn't know that. So they put her in an ambulance, and along comes April. So April's like, she goes with Kylie to the hospital. So she stays with Kylie at the hospital. And along comes Jake Wagner. And he says, I'm taking Kylie home. And they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah, I'm the father. No, you're not. And they refused to let him take Kylie. But she said that he appeared very emotionless. So further testimony during that day indicated that Jake really did think Kylie was his as well. And Hannah had told him multiple times, she couldn't possibly be your child. So, she's not yours. Anyway, but they were fighting over the child that was his, who apparently was, the night of the murders, was with Jake's mother. Her name is Sophia. She was with Jake's mother when the murders occurred, so she was not at the crime scene. All right, am I done with this? Maybe. There's a little bit up here. We can put some up here. Oh my goodness. Then the next person to testify was April Manley's son, Cody, who was best friends with Frankie. Now, Frankie was the other son of Chris Sr., and he was the person killed at the second crime scene. Frankie was there with his fiancee, Hannah Gilly. They were both murdered. They also had a 6-month-old infant in the bed with them and a 3-year-old in another bedroom. So Cody was best friends with Frankie, also his cousin. They grew up together, spent a lot of time together. Cody had been at Frankie's home the night before. They were fixing a bird cage, and he was there for a couple of hours. The next morning, he said Frankie didn't show up for work. So he called him. He said, he probably overslept. Let me call him. Calls, and he's not getting any answers. So he drives over there, and when he gets there, he sees his mother, April, who's with the ambulance, and she's with Kylie, and that's when he finds out, everything that occurred. At the crime scene, Cody actually tries to go into the home of Frankie, and the police, shoot him away. So the next person to testify was Kendra Roden. This was Hannah's best friend. Hannah from the third crime scene, Jake's ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. I don't know if she ever married Jake. Anyway, Hannah testified that, there was a period of time, after she had Sophia, that she went and she lived with the Wagner family. Hannah did, until they split up. And then after that, she said that Jake was very abusive to her. That's why, they split up, and that she would start, when he would call, she would record the phone calls. Sometimes she would secretly record even in-person conversations. And then she would replay them to Kendra. And she said, based on what she was hearing, she felt positive that Hannah was being physically abused by Jake. And she confirmed that Jake did think he was the father of Kylie. So that's what happened on Friday in the Roden case. The George Wagner, who we still have not heard any evidence that links him to the crime scene. So we're still now getting all the fact witnesses in. So the next trial was Alex Jones. There was no trial on Friday, but it does resume today. And Law and Crime, where I get all this information from, they stream these trials live, and they have it's a live feed, and there's a chat that goes along with it. Just when I do a live, there's a chat, and usually there's several thousand people in this chat. Well, the Alex Jones chat got way out of control. These nutbags show up, and they're harassing comments about the families, and to the point where Law and Crime has turned off the chat. You're not allowed to comment, and the chat is turned off. So, yeah, because the families don't need to do that. I don't know why the families would be reading the chat. But they might be. I don't know. Very sad. Yes, I'm using a Christmas coffee because it keeps my coffee hot. Well, not really, no. It's not hot. Okay. I don't know why there was no trial on Friday, but it is expected that probably this week we're going to hear Alex Jones back on the stand when the defense puts on their case in chief. So the next trial that we have is the trial of Nikki Sue Ensel. She, as you may recall, was in a, just dropped something, in a love triangle with her husband Chad and her boyfriend, fiance, apparently we're going to find out, Earl. Reminds me of a Dixie Chicks song. What's that song where they're talking about Earl? I don't know. Anyway, I love the Dixie Chicks. I digress. Anyway, so Matthew Hines was the first person on the stand. He is Nikki's brother. Interesting that he's testifying against her. Yeah. So he testified that he had a meeting with them ahead of time, ahead of the murder, days ahead of the murder. And where Nikki described that she had been physically abused by Chad and proceeds to show some bruising on her legs. Well, what she says was bruising on her legs. Matthew said, I didn't see it. So then he described their hotel room. He had seen it, and he said it seemed overly stocked with stuff. A full refrigerator, lots of clothing, pots and pans. He says, just didn't seem like your normal hotel room. Then we have the testimony of Heather Schwartz. She worked for Chad, the victim, the person that was murdered, Nikki's husband. She worked for Chad's company. And days after the murder, Nikki calls Heather and says, Chad, died in a house fire, and I just want to know if there's any life insurance available. And Heather said, yes, we have approximately, he'll have about $120,000 in benefits. Interesting. He had money all over the place. Okay, then we have the testimony of a hotel worker, where they rented the hotel, Nikki and Earl. Earl rented it. They both lived there. So she was saying that this worker, that the key card that you use, now I did not know this, records information. Every time you go in or out of that room, it records. So they have like a complete record of every time these people went in or out of their hotel room. Wow, nothing is sacred in this world, not even a hotel room. And they have security camera footage outside the room. There's nothing inside the room, but outside the room you can see them coming and going, and quite often. Then we have the testimony of the landlord, who said that Nikki complained several times about the furnace not working. Then we had the testimony of the HVAC workers that would come out when Nikki would say the furnace wasn't working. Sometimes the furnace was okay. In November, the person went out there and something had to be replaced. That was replaced, and he said when he left, the furnace was working just fine. Then we got to see footage of Chad entering the bowling alley and leaving the bowling alley. You're like, bowling alley? Yeah. Well, the evening before the early morning murders, during the time that Chad was bowling, Nikki and Earl go to the house. We know this from camera footage and the security system. They go between the hours of like 7 and 8:30. I don't know. They go over there and they take all their belongings, take all the kids' belongings, and then they leave. Well, during this time, Chad is with his bowling league. So we see Chad coming to the bowling league, and at 10:22 we see Chad leaving the bowling league. And it's not until, according to that security, where other people, where the home is entered again about 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when they think the murders occurred, between like 1 and 3 a.m. the following morning. Then there was a person that testified that he had sold Earl a welding torch kit. And this was actually found at the crime scene. And he said he sold them 2 tanks of this chemical that that's very highly flammable that they use for these torch kits. And at the scene, those tanks were empty. It's called acetylene. I don't know how to pronounce that, but interesting. So I guess that's how they were trying to start the fire, or maybe ultimately that's how they did start the fire. Anyway, so then we have the trial that starts today of Darrell Brooks. Now, I said I would live stream the opening statements. I don't know when we're going to get to opening statements. They've got to pick a jury first. It could be as soon as this afternoon. It could be several days. It depends on the defendant, Darrell Brooks, who is representing himself. This is the Waukesha Christmas Parade Massacre, where he drove his SUV through the Christmas parade. He's charged with 6 counts of murder and 70 other counts of various things. And he's representing himself, to his mother's dismay. His mother wrote a letter to the judge saying, do not let him do this. He is mentally unstable. She told a reporter that what you're going to see is mania. That's what you're going to see with him, mania, because he won't take his medication. And I didn't realize this, but he had originally pled guilty. Then he changed his plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. And recently he withdrew the insanity plea. So just a simple not guilty. I think this guy's going to get the death penalty. I don't know if it's available in that state or if they're going for it, but this would be a death penalty case, I would think. Anyway, I mean, he drove through the dancing grannies, for God's sakes. Anyway, he's representing himself. So as soon as the opening statements start, I'm going to stream. We're going to watch this circus together. It's going to be entertaining, at the very least. Okay. And there's experts that say there is 0 chance that this case is going to get to a conclusion. It will probably end in a mistrial. 0 chance that it doesn't end in a mistrial. Yeah. Because he's going to do something and it'll end in a mistrial. He'll say something, he'll do something crazy, or, and maybe that's why he's doing it. I don't know. But they're also surprised, these experts, that he is not that he doesn't have standby counsel, because a lot of times some of these defendants, they'll get into it and then they'll change their mind. He does not have standby counsel. And the judge said to him very clearly, you realize you will not have standby counsel. You are representing yourself. And he's like, yep, I know. But judging from the conversation that I heard between the judge and the defendant, he's got his own agenda, and he just doesn't listen to the judge, and he talks over her, and it's going to be interesting. And he likes to object, so we're going to see a lot of objections. So that is the show for today. I hope you guys, if you want to join me tonight, I'll be streaming Disney's Dreamlight Valley at 6:30 p.m. Central for an hour. Just something we do. It's fun. It's, gets us away from the life for an hour. And if I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow in Crafting and Crime Daily, or maybe the opening statements of the Darrell Brooks case. I doubt it's going to be today. Anyway, I've got work to do, and I will see you later. Take care, everybody. Bye.